It's the molten gold of the cup and the tarnished gold of the plate. It's the gold of kings and the smudged footprint of the poor. Good gospel. He picks up the piece that looks like the broken wall and explains the treasure by showing me the date on the bottom. It is what it seems. It's a piece of a wall, a broken piece of a wall. He made it to celebrate the fall of the Berlin Wall. That's the date that's at the bottom. The fall of the wall, the broken masonry, the gold of freedom, the cup of forgiveness. He quotes something and then says in English, Ephesians. For he himself is our peace, who made the two one, and has destroyed the barrier, the dividing wall of hostility. See, he gestures. See. Cup. Cup. East. Cup. See. West, chalice. In Christ there is both east and west. A white light goes off behind my eyes, alabaster cups and cities gleam. The rubble from a wall of despair becomes a cornerstone of communion. The vessel for Christ's body shaped like a round stone of a tomb or a human egg. The inside of each is painted with gold so pure that it casts light on my hand whenever I touch it. Kim Dae-jung understood what the gold of freedom looked like, as did this artist. Kim Dae-jung understood what was needed, how much freedom would cost, the weight in gold, when he found a way to redeem a nation that was drowning under the waves of global slavery, IMF, International Monetary Fund, a collusion between a military dictatorship and a global power that meant everyone was in debt. There was no future. And what did he do? He didn't demand, he asked. He asked for gold. He asked for gold. He asked them to give gold, not to lend, but to give, freely give. And they gave. Rings, some of the room will remember. Rings and baby gifts and wedding presents and medals and watches and heirlooms. The gold came from the rich and from the poor alike. Gold freely given, not bartered, not hoarded, not traded, not sold. Gold. To redeem means to purchase back that which has been sold into slavery. They redeemed a nation with gold for the sake of freedom. So, what will you give for a glimpse of the kingdom of heaven? Or a down-to-earth question, what is the going rate of e pluribus unum? What would it cost to have a policy of pulling down, not building, walls of hostility? Oh, such a golden dream. Democracy. A sunshine policy indeed. It took 1 month to end the globe, 1 month to turn the world on its axis, 1 month, and North Korea is denounced as a nation of evil. The U.S. ambassador advises a hardening of the walls between the North and South. There are more armed guards on the streets. Rice shipments to a nation with starving children are canceled. The promised visit between families separated by 55 years of war are canceled. And they die without seeing their loved ones. Hardliners take control. Kim Dae-jung's sunshine policy is the delusion of old women and children. It is nothing but fool's gold. So, what would you give for this vision of fool's gold? A glimpse of the golden mystery of grace. In Christ, there is both east and west, both earth and heaven. What would you give for such a treasure? I asked him if I can buy the set. Shakes his head, very expensive. I recognize the gesture, even in Korean. A nice way to say no to me. And I discover I'm really pushy. On occasion, I can be. I get really pushy. I tell him in 2 languages, name a price. Name a price. I can't go home without this. Name a price. He's trying to be polite. He says, 2 million won. I have to do a mental calculation. I think about the cash that I'm to live on for a month. I think I can probably live on kimchi for about that long. I say to him, not knowing what the world will be tomorrow, I say to him, I will be back in an hour with the money. I need this as a sign of healing. It's an outward and visible sign of an inward, invisible grace. Sacrament, the sign of forgiveness, that love is stronger than death. It gathers up the terrible pieces of the falling stones, the gray clouds, the burned bodies, in this impossible piece of Christ. This very treasure, this open tomb, this cup of gold. When I return with the money, he's waiting. He studies me for a few minutes. Then he asks the student to ask me something. She says, if he lets you buy this, will you promise something? Anything else? Will you promise, she says, he wants to know, will you promise to ask everyone that you show this to and tell the story, to pray that the wall between the north and the south falls down? Will you promise this? I promise. Ephesians, he says, and nods. And the price changes. From 2 million won to 184 US dollars. And a promise forged in gold. For he himself is our peace, who made the two one, and has destroyed the barrier, the dividing wall